Every now and then, someone on social media will lament about why they don't make movies like The Fugitive anymore. For Fugitive director Andrew Davis, the decrease in crime dramas and thrillers that are primarily geared toward grown-ups actually dates back much further than the blockbuster craze of the past 15 years. With the film, which turned 30 in August, Davis accomplished the rare feat of being both a commercial and critical success, culminating in 7 Oscar nominations and 1 win for Tommy Lee Jones as Best Supporting Actor. The Harrison Ford-starring vehicle that reimagined the 1963 TV series of the same name certainly didn't set out to be the third highest-grossing film of 1993 or an awards darling. Warner Brothers merely strove for a base hit, as opposed to swinging for the fences, and that philosophy ties into why the major studios no longer prioritize films with the scope and scale of The Fugitive. It started with Jaws. When you could make a movie that could play all over the world and have all of these incredible box offices, studios wanted to invest in that home run all the time, Davis tells The Hollywood Reporter. But WB co-chairman Bob Daly and Terry Semel said, "We're happy hitting doubles." What makes Davis's film all the more impressive is that its post-production process was just 10 weeks long. By today's standards, 10 weeks is the minimum amount of time that a director is required to have before submitting their initial director's cut. In The Fugitive's case, the studio really wanted to capture teenagers and adults before school was back in session. Barry Reardon, who was the head of distribution at Warner Brothers, said, "Can you get this thing out by August 6th? Davis recalls, "There were 6 editors, but 3 main editors, and I would go from room to room. It was almost like a dentist's office where I would check in on each patient. And everybody hated us afterwards, because, well, if The Fugitive did it in 10 weeks, why can't you do it in 10 weeks? When we showed the film to the studio, they went, 'Don't touch a thing. We love it.'" Below, during a recent conversation with THR, Davis also discusses the one moment in which Ford had to sport a fake beard, as well as shooting the Chicago St. Patrick's Day parade scene on the fly. "When I think of Harrison Ford, I don't think of Han Solo or Indiana Jones. I think of Dr. Richard Kimball using his fingers to eat an incapacitated man's scrambled eggs. Do you recall anything from that day at the hospital? We knew we only had one shot of the train crash and only one shot to shave off the beard in that same scrambled egg sequence. So there was a question of how to stage it so he could be hidden behind the bathroom door. And it's funny, because when the nurse comes in to fill up the water bottle, you can see the paper towel still fluttering from him closing the door. So he's glad she didn't catch that. That was one of the few things we shot in North Carolina besides the train crash, and Harrison was really on his game. That was also the day he shot himself with a needle in order to get rid of the infection from his wound, and so I just remember how he ate that food. He was so real about playing him as famished,